Yes. Good morning. What it do? What it do? What it do? It's your boy B. Damone and Coach Gomez in the house today at Level Up Productions in the studio. And this is episode 105 of Along the Wire. We thank you for viewing on YouTube and listening on the podcast. And this is business as usual. Because even given whatever the situation is, we have our football season back, and the attempt at it has been great. So we got to move with the new normal, and it is business as usual.
Yep.
So last night, Coach Gomez was at a game. I was at the UTSA game, and the big boys, the 5A and 6A schools in Texas, were either having their last scrimmage or their first games.
Yep. So
there was a lot of games on the tilt for the state of Texas. So we're going to get into, on this episode, the games we were at. And we're going to talk about what's going to be coming up. And we got some district predictions and let you know the games that we're going to be at. But first, we're going to announce scholarships. So let's jump into the scholarships, and then we'll do a couple of quick hits and get the show moving, all right? The first scholarship we got, Alex Arnold and Ohio Northern University. Congratulations, Alex. Then from Brandeis, we got Nathaniel Renee Garza from Culver Stockton College. Congratulations on your scholarship offers. That's what it's all about at the end of the day, is getting an opportunity to play at that next level and continue to further your education. So, gentlemen, congratulations on those offers, and may you get many, many more.
Yep.
Many more. One thing, and Coach O said it on Twitter, that's very important. Whenever a kid is getting an offer, it's not always the best thing to right after they tell you they got an offer. Oh, are you hearing from any other schools?
I mean, there's some kids out there just offer chasing, clout chasing, and it doesn't even have to be an official offer, and they're out there all excited about it. You got to know the difference between an official offer and just an offer or a roster spot offer. But yeah. That is wild, huh?
Yeah.
Ungrateful.
Right. Who else you talking to?
Yeah.
That's nice, but who else you talking to as well? You know, so we want to make sure that, you know, you give credence and you give that respect, because like you said on the previous episode, if it's a NAIA D3, D2, you want to treat it like it's a D1.
Yep.
And then, you know, people want to separate the FBS and SC and FFCS games. Teams and their offers. Hey, you know.
Yeah. When you go at the end of the day, when you go and apply for a job, when you're done, when it's all said and done, they're not gonna care where you got your degree from, man.
Mm-hmm.
They're not gonna ask you, hey, is that a D1 degree?
Right.
Did you get a degree from a D3?
Did you pass?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
We had some debuts that we're going to hit on. Just once again going over the listing, we had Jordan Battle's first game at Holy Cross.
Yep.
We had Cornerstone going up to Austin to play LBJ. We had Clemens going up to Westlake, so we're going to hit on that as well. I got a couple of projects that I'm giving to, and I'm saying that because I haven't told Coach Gomez yet, that I'm giving a collision, because I came across some ideas for some schools that I think that people are going to be very interested in as far as decals go.
Gotcha.
So I'm gonna give you the scoop on that after the show. But hey, it's not just for one school in San Antonio. It's for as many schools are open to the idea of it.
Sounds like a plan.
Exactly. So, you know, we definitely want to integrate ourselves even more into the San Antonio high school football scene. I appreciate and we appreciate anytime we go to games and they're like, oh, along the wires there, blah, 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 blah. You know, like, the love is awesome. So, you know, we definitely want to continue to show it and give it back as we get it. Once again, make sure y'all are subscribing and y'all share the YouTube channel for Along the Wire, because we're going to continue to have the athletes on the podcast and on the YouTube channel and be giving you interviews and keep you up to date on the San Antonio high school football scene. If you're a San Antonio high school football player, this is the YouTube channel for you. This is for you, period. Y'all are my inspiration and why I even do this. So tag along and see exactly how far we can take this thing. So we're going to end this segment right now and come back and have some Friday night score recaps and talk about the games that we were at. So we will be right back. What it do? It's your boy B. Damone, and we are back for this segment of Along the Wire, episode 105. We're going to do our game recap and attendance for next game and let you know what games we were at last night. I'll just get mine out the way. I was at UTSA, Middle Tennessee State game last night, and UTSA is the best college football team in Texas right now. 3-0.
Yeah.
And no matter how they got there, as Javi from Rivals put up, no matter how they got there, they are 3-0. Regardless of the look, that was their first conference game, and they're now 1-0 in their conference. And first place in the conference and first place in Texas. So it was good to see them. Unfortunately, Frank Harris went down with a bit of an injury, but Coach Traylor is very positive about that. Coach Traylor is very positive about that, and it shouldn't be that big of an issue. And Josh Atkins actually stepped in, another San Antonio kid, and took over for Frank. And it was kind of one of those when a pitcher throws a changeup at you and the defense has to readjust to, okay, this is how this quarterback plays, because his first two plays he went straight down the field. He had a 11-yard out route to Cephas, and then he threw a 29-yard pass down the seam to Franklin, and then the next thing you know, they're at the Middle Tennessee State 1-yard line, or like inside the 5. And so he kind of
changed the pace of the game.
Exactly. Different type of quarterback, different type of throws are going to be made, and you saw a different type of offense come out of UTSA. So it was good to see. They are 3-0. If anything, I would just say I worry about a couple of tendencies that I've seen overall with the team. The defense in the first half varies from the defense that you see in the second half. But all in all, you got to take things into the perspective of no schools had their full training camps and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So sometimes the defense can get gassed, and it just seems like it's always happening, or at least in these first 3 games, like there's a total different team that steps out there in the second half.
Conditioning, bro.
Right.
Like you said, they all hadn't been really practicing, and UTSA seems to melt down in that second half, right? I mean, they were up against Texas State.
Right.
They were, I think, were they leading last night?
Yeah.
I think they get gassed out in that second half, and I think as the season goes along, that conditioning kicks in, and they'll be all right. But right now, like you said, every team right now is either a second half team or a first half team.
Right.
Due to conditioning.
And but they do have fighters, and it's so funny.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I was like, do they need the game to be close to stay focused? I mean, and it feels like one of those situations, but yet they'll get these leads. They had 2 double-digit leads yesterday, again, but they just don't hold it.
Yeah.
And either because they were up, what was it? They were up 17 24-10. I'm sorry. And then they were down, and then they were up again, 35 to 24, and then they lost that. And I'm like, come on, like just
get one or two stops.
You know.
Yep.
But all in all, they are 3-0, and congratulations on that. So that's the game I was at.
But it's a huge building block for the city of San Antonio with UTSA starting 3-0. If COVID wasn't in full effect, could you imagine how the city would grasp to all that right now?
All right,
man. I bet you next home game that dome would be rocking.
And one thing I want to give a shout out to is the coaching staff, because it's not easy to go from planning to play Memphis to switching up to a totally different team, and regardless of who the opponent is, and it's a conference game too, so they already know you. And you're the new coaching staff. They might know your team and tendencies better than you know your own team, in which Coach Traylor actually said that, he's still learning his team, period. In these different game situations, he's trying to see what his guys have. But he knows that he has fighters, and that's all you need to even be in the game to win it.
Yeah, and they, like I said, back to what I was touching, I mean, they're trying to set out and pack that dome. And like I said, if that COVID wasn't kicked in right now.
Right. 3-0.
3-0, man. Shoot. Imagine what that dome would be like right now.
I mean, and I don't like looking too far ahead, but you're halfway to being bowl eligible.
Yeah.
You're halfway to being bowl eligible, and you've got talent at the positions that you need to
and doing it with the hometown talent.
Yeah.
Josh Atkins from San Antonio.
And they did a little trivia question. There's 25 kids on the UTSA roster that are from the San Antonio area or the surrounding counties. So, I mean, like he said, they got a lot of hometown talent. So we're going to go over some of the scores now. I wanted to segue into the game that you were at. Do you want to do the scores or just segue into the game you were?
We can do some of the scores and then we'll come into the game I was at.
So like we were saying in the last segment, it was a lot of games in which that were important for the city of San Antonio. I know I was in the Cornerstone kids' ears about, hey, y'all are going up there playing Austin LBJ. Let's bring this dub back. Anytime you get to play another city's squad and you have kids on that squad that are getting recruited, you want to take that shine.
Yeah.
And I saw somebody put up a post about Gardner again. I don't have the stats from that game, being it was just a few hours ago, but Cornerstone won 17-10, and they were actually up 7-3, then down 10-7, and then came back and won 17-10. Lucas Coley had a rushing touchdown, and then he threw for another one to his tight end, and number 85, forgive me, for the game winner. Against a defense that has highly touted and recruited players in that Austin LBJ squad, and that's one thing that I put up. I had the I-10 conversation with Stats from We Talk Facts. I was like, hey, this is an opportunity for kids to make their name or at least be heard. If you're going up against these players who already have all these schools looking at them,
yep.
And you go in there and get the dub, let me see what's going on. How did they lose that game? And they got two 4-star, if you want to put stars on it, 2 4-star DBs back there, and y'all lost?
Yeah.
So congratulations to Cornerstone on going up there and getting that dub, because they were all confident. I didn't get any messages back that were like, oh, I'm worried about this, blah, blah, blah. Nah. They went up there and they were focused and they got that. And then a close game like that, you definitely have to stay focused every play. And they went up there and they accomplished the goal of getting the dub for San Antonio. And that's what they did. Another game I was talking about was Jordan Battle's first game at Holy Cross.
I heard he exploded.
That is a good word for it. That's a good word for it. Like we said on previous podcasts, it's a chance if you go to a Holy Cross game to see something special and see a kid put up some crazy numbers. The numbers that I'm getting back right now, congratulations on Holy Cross and Coach Harrison getting that W over Austin Hyde Park.
Yes.
49-26. On his performance, he had 20 carries for 306 yards and 5 rushing touchdowns and 1 throwing touchdown.
Yes.
So, I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, like, really,
he balled out, and he did exactly what we thought he would do as far as, bringing that leadership and that
exactly on both sides of the ball.
Both sides of the ball. I know they had a tough loss in Roman. He went down number 7 for them. My prayers go out to him. Hope he comes back with a speedy recovery. But yeah, Jordan just impressive. You know what I mean? Impressive. Yeah. Holy Cross has a real good shot of just taking that crown this year.
And they had a really nice running game outside of Jordan too. I liked some of the plays because I was able to stream the game, so I was catching little bits and pieces. Jordan had like this 86-yard run or something like that where he took off like straight up the middle and then got called back for a block in the back. And I saw it and I'm like, he's in front of you. Why are you blocking this dude? Like Jordan's like 10 yards in front.
You can't do nothing for him.
Exactly. But they still ended up scoring on that drive a couple plays later anyhow. But yeah, it was just a crazy run. I actually tweeted about it and said, oh, it got called back. But because I had just turned the game on, it was at halftime of the game I was at. So congrats to Holy Cross, and next week Antonian. So
and Antonian had a good showing last night against Floresville.
Yes,
I mean Schwalen was slinging the ball around. I think the combination of Danny Padron and Coach Dawson, that combo right there, man, that's a lot of coaching experience together, and them guys did a really good job of calling that game last night.
As Antonian beat Floresville 48-25.
Yeah.
So very similar scores even. 49-26, 48-25.
Yeah.
So.
And then you had the Central Catholic burning Geneva.
Yes.
42-27.
And you attended that game. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because speaking of fighting.
Central Catholic came back from a 21-0 deficit. Burning Geneva jumped out on them. Shouts out to Burning Geneva, very disciplined team. We're eating up Central with the short passing game. Later on, Central adjusted. Offensively, I think they got started a little slow, but overall, Central Catholic ended up kicking it into gear. Our boys were a little more conditioned, I believe, in the long run, and ended up coming out with the victory. It was a total team victory. Did it on both sides of the ball. Defense scored. Kaden Hernandez came up with a big scoop and score. I know Garrett Davidsmeyer added, I think, 2 to 3 rushing touchdowns. Silas Gomez had 2 touchdowns, and Jaden Velasquez had a touchdown rushing. So it was a total
team effort
all the way around.
Good, especially coming down from 21-0 because it can start setting in your mind like, okay, what's going on? Like,
well, the game changer was Gomez goes and scores, and then the defense comes up with the scoop and score.
Yeah. So it was a quick.
Yes, because it was 7-21. Then the scoop and score comes. It's 14-21. Then we get a score right before halftime. So, man, those changes of events it was good to see the boys battle. And shouts out to the Central coaching staff for making adjustments, that second half to slow down that offense of Burning Geneva. Burning Geneva is going to be a force to be reckoned with in their division. They got a really solid quarterback who gets rid of the ball. And once again, like I said, they're a well-coached squad. And, man, they didn't even have much numbers either. And them boys were playing like they –
Yeah. Like, school I want to shout out is a school that we saw who, in Comfort, who did something bad to Bandera. 63-3, Comfort beats Bandera.
It's like that, Marshawn Lynch, over
and over.
That's a machine over there.
Yeah.
Comfort. That's a machine in Comfort.
And that, I mean, that's a school. After seeing that game versus Marion, I know I'm gonna keep my eye on them, because I mean, it really is impressive to see that structure and them move so fluidly, and it be like.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I wouldn't mind catching them later in the season to see how much better they get.
Right.
Because you know they're only gonna get more better.
Right.
You know it.
Exactly. I want to give a shout out to Clemens High School, as they stepped up to go play Austin Westlake after Westlake lost their opponent. It's not an easy task. The final score of that game was 53-7, but I think this is one of those games where you might take the L early in the season, but going up against an opponent like that makes everybody else seem a little bit easier. And giving your coaching experience and background, what do you think a team like that can pull from playing a team as good as Austin Westlake, and how can that propel them during the season?
Well, taking a loss like that, will really show me where I'm weak at.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like weak on my ends. Was it up the middle? Do I got to make adjustments someplace? And like you said, I can make that early in the season, and it's not going to affect my district play.
Right.
Because that's when it matters. When we get to district, do we like to win all the games? Oh, yeah, we like to win all the games. Do we want to be competitive? Yeah, we want to be competitive. But remember, I mean, I don't want to be the dead horse, but COVID is the issue for all of this stuff. For a lot of teams, a lot of coaching staffs. I mean, think about it. I mean, this hit last year, right before spring break. So a lot of these teams didn't have spring ball.
Right.
A lot of them didn't have their conditioning like they should have been, and started on time like they should have been. So a lot of this has been just rushed, and they're cramming everything in these kids' heads. There's some teams out there that are fortunate that have had kids in the system and that are already accustomed to what we're doing, accustomed to what we're calling, kind of like at Southside. They look like because they had a system going on. And at Southside, I think they bring a lot more of the younger guys up early so they get that experience. Or then at your bigger 6A, 5A schools, a lot of those guys that were on JV, they don't play varsity. A lot of those guys that are on varsity are strictly juniors or seniors. Hardly any sophomores, right?
Right.
So then when you come in the next year and some of those younger guys didn't play, you're almost having to rebuild again because they're not really in that system yet. Yeah, they may have it at the JV level and the same plays and stuff like that, but to get varsity game speed, it's totally different.
Yeah. We want to make sure y'all are taking notice of the ticker below us as well. That is keeping up with all the scores in the area, from the San Antonio area and the surrounding counties as well. One more game I want to give a shout out to, and then we'll talk about the games that we're going to be going to in the future. And I just had it.
How about that Bernie and Fredericksburg game on Thursday night? That 24th. That was a good game for a Thursday night game.
Man, Fredericksburg and Bernie. We'll talk about that one. Fredericksburg and Bernie. From the highlights that I saw, I didn't get to watch it, but I know you got to see some of the second half, I believe. To have a 24-17 lead wiped out in a matter of seconds. Man, I wouldn't know what to say. I mean, even when you're stopping on the 2-point conversion, you just got to make that one stop. And it's not like it wasn't a contended pass either. It was a contested throw. It was one of those when you play perfect defense and they still make the catch and the throw's right where it has to be.
And that's why we love high school football, bro.
And it's like
you never know what's gonna happen.
And that would have been a great win for Bernie coming off of the game previously versus Sweetwater.
Yeah.
Man.
Fredericksburg showed that they had some fight in them.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
And that little quarterback they had on that other side on Fredericksburg, he was pretty good, man.
Mm-hmm.
He had control. Even though when you thought he didn't have control of the game, he had control of the game. Yeah. You know what I mean? He was managing it well. He was leading it well. And it was just all about opportunities and missed opportunities. That's what it showed.
So, going from that game to where Along the Wire will be next week. Next week, if you look down on the ticker, you will see it's our first full schedule, Thursday, Friday, Saturday slate of games. Me and Gomez will probably be at some of the same games. I know you're definitely going to catch the Central Catholic game.
Mm-hmm.
Who is their opponent next week?
Sachs.
Sachs. Ooh.
Yeah, Sachs and a Christian.
So Sachs, coming off their loss, could be very motivated to erase that from their memories.
Yes.
And going up against Central Catholic, that's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good one. We're also going to be at I'm going off the dome here. Let me not do that. Thursday, we have Stevens versus Holmes. So definitely going to be out there and on the sidelines for that one. So I want to see what's going on with that. That's very important for the segment that I have coming up for the next segment. Holmes versus Stevens on Thursday. That's the 1st of October.
Yep.
On the 2nd, Friday night, I'm going to go see Jordan Battles in person versus Antonian, and that's going to be a game. Them both coming off those victories, similar win totals, like I was saying, and high expectations for both school, and Antonian looking to continue their success, and Holy Cross with this new beast that they have. Let's see exactly. Let's see what it has again. And then lastly, Saturday. This is one of the tests, and they were talking about it at the UTSA game, and that's Harlan versus Brandeis. That's gonna be, man, like
what you got? Put you on the spot right now. Put you on the spot.
I hadn't even thought about that. Who do I have? Who do I have? That's power versus power. That's offense versus that defense.
You gotta give me a. I'll tell you who I got.
Oh man, who do I got?
I'm going with Harlan.
Should I just be contrarian? No, I got Harlan too. And man, that's gonna be a game.
Yeah, it's gonna be a game.
That's all I can say is that's gonna be a game that you'll probably end up seeing later in the playoffs.
True.
So this is like round one. I feel very confident in saying this is just round one. So winner or loser of this game, get ready to do it again, because this.
Where are they gonna play that one at?
That one is at Ferris
on Saturday.
Right. So I got Harlan. I can't give a score prediction because I don't know yet. I want to see exactly what these teams look like, and I think I'm just going to be watching it from that angle of, okay, who's going to be new, who steps up, because we know the names on defense and we know the names on offense, but there's a couple of receivers that I think Harlan has that people are sleeping on, that aren't the ones that you already know. So, people have been sending me some stuff like, hey, keep an eye on this kid.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that's a test. That's a test. You aren't just going to go up against Aiden and Jalen and just have success like immediately. So I'm ready to see that. I'm so excited for this next week. It's going to be good. So that is where we will be. And if y'all ever want us at a game, send us a message,
yeah. DM.
We respond in the comment section on this YouTube. Send us where we should be at. Make sure we don't miss it. We look for everything, but even now, like you've been saying with COVID going on, these schedules, you got games that are flip-flopping, getting canceled, getting reset.
You got some leagues where it's week 5. You got some where it's week 3.
Exactly.
You got some where it's barely
like
week 1.
Literally, Cornerstone's in week 6, and everybody else is in the city is week 1 or 2.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got to work with this.
Yeah. Help us help you.
Exactly. So that's all for this segment. Next segment coming up is going to be one that you don't want to miss.
Stay tuned.
Do not want to miss. All right, we will be right back. What it do, what it do, what it do. It's your boy B. Damone and Coach Gomez. We are back, and we have got what we did last week again, and that is district predictions for the teams that are going to make the playoffs. Now we got a couple of more big boy conferences. Do you think people get mad when you say the big boy schools? But we know what they mean.
Probably do. It's more, large enrollment, we'll say.
The schools with the larger amount of enrollments in them.
There we go.
Their teams are now back on the playing field, so we are going to go over the predictions of those teams' districts. And we're going to start off with 29 6A North Side. I don't think that could ever sound hard. I don't know if that's
Doesn't.
So, North Side. As you can see, we have got my predictions up right now for 29-6A, and I'm going to go from first to fourth of the teams I believe are going to make the playoffs for that district. The district winner is going to be Harlan. Second, Brennan. Third, O'Connor. And fourth, John Jay.
Man, I swear you were cheating.
What are you talking about?
You were cheating, man. You had my phone tapped.
Nah.
Okay.
Dude, but honestly,
I can see that, because John Jay.
Do you remember last year?
John Jay is the best school inside 410.
Okay.
I can see that. So John Jay, yes, they will be that sleeper, that fourth spot.
And if you
Harlan,
remember, go ahead.
And Harlan, as I mentioned when we were off air, Harlan's going to handle business, man. I think they have some key weapons out there returning. On the defense side of the ball, they have some guys that we haven't heard of, or that everyone else hasn't heard of, but we've heard of.
Right.
And I feel that they're going to get the job done. So I do see Harlan finishing winning that district.
So I got well, don't get into your predictions yet. But I picked John Jay, and exactly for the reasons that you said. I like their running back. I like Mobley. I like their quarterback, and going off of last year, it was so close between Stevens, Warren, and John Jay. It was like a round robin. Even going back, I couldn't even tell you who beat who, but it was like 1-1, and it came down to points between those three. So in picking the top three, you kind of already know who the powerhouses are in that district. Until somebody comes up or a scheme is made or the chips fall the right way, you're gonna have Harlan, Brennan, and O'Connor in the playoffs. And if it wasn't Harlan, it would have been Brandeis. Yeah. I don't think you're gonna get an argument from anybody on that.
No.
So it's that fourth spot that is always up.
Up for grabs.
And I think Jay's going to take it. Just going off of last week, if anybody was to disrupt that, I'm going to go Stevens. I'm going to go Stevens over Warren to blow up my district predictions. If it's not Jay, it'll be Stevens. So that's my setup. I think Harlan Brennan, the winner of that game. Obviously, if I'm saying Harlan, I think Harlan can beat Brennan. I think that's going to be such a telling game, period. I think both teams are going to grow from that. Like we were just talking about Harlan versus Brandeis, but I think this is an even better game for them because that's all they've been talking about off the entire offseason.
Yeah, because there's a lot of friends on both sides.
Brennan and Harlan have only been, so as much as Harlan I know will take the test of Brandeis, I know they're looking for Brennan.
Both teams are looking forward to playing each other that week.
Exactly. So, and then I got O'Connor. O'Connor's just going to be that constant beast, and then you got them The only questions I have, I'll continue to say, if you have people starting in new positions, I'm going to question that until they're tested, and then just like every other situation in the state when it comes to football, you haven't had the time to prepare. So I got to go with what I've seen that is working and has worked, and what the proof is in the past pudding, so to speak. So that's exactly what it is, and I know O'Connor is going to be a constant. I like their defensive back Waller. I like Locke at their quarterback position, but I know that he's got some work to do, and they constantly have a good offensive line. And I mean, being in the trenches, if you have an advantage there, then you can move or stop the football.
Yep, all day.
So those are my picks: Harlan, Brennan, O'Connor, Jay, and if I have a spoiler, it's Stevens. So correct me where I'm wrong.
Like I said, you copied my paper. Joe, did he ask you to forward the text over there?
I know, right? I think he did, man. I think he's kind of peeking over your phone as you're typing stuff in, man.
I think so, brother. I think so. No, so I had the same thing. I had John Jay coming in at 4.
And
I explained why. I think Coach Gutierrez got them boys, on point every year. Got O'Connor at 3, Brennan at 2, and Harlan 1. And then I also had Stevens.
Wow.
So I guess great minds think alike.
I guess I'm learning. I'm learning. See, I'm learning. So with no differences there, I guess that's the official along the wire
29-6A prediction.
29-6A prediction. So then let's jump over to 27-6A. Excuse me. 27-6A. Judson District. So who plays them all the time. So that's the district that we're going to. Do you want to start? Well, the graphics mine. So, my top 4: Judson, Clemens, Steele, Smithson Valley, and my surprise team would be Wagner. What's yours? Let's just go into it. What's yours?
I got 4 Smith and Valley, 3 Cibolo Steel, 2 Shirts Clemens, number 1 Judson, Sleeper Wagner.
Hey, we don't do this stuff together.
No, we don't
at all.
No, I submitted last night about 1:00 in the morning,
and I had mine in days before because I remember I gave you the list. I told you the districts. So, hey, all right. So
we're on to something. You see what happens.
Exactly. So let's start off in reverse. So why Wagner is your spoiler?
I think Wagner. I think they still got Williams. Williams is a young quarterback. They are missing a tailback, because they had some key losses. I think they have a young squad.
Wait, hold on. Butler's back at Wagner.
Yeah, I know Butler's back at Wagner.
But they lost.
What was the other kid's name?
Brown.
Yep.
Brown.
Then they lost
Cobbs.
Then on the defensive side of the ball, they lost big boy DeMarcus.
Yeah.
Who was a major influence on that defense last year.
Yeah.
Then you had Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Lee Thomas, who'll be missing.
Yeah.
Then you had
your boy from your 7-on-7 squad.
Yep.
Coach Juice was getting on him.
Yeah.
Dang, I can't think of his name.
So we've lost on defense. Wagner's lost at least 4 or 5 solid defensive defenders.
Right.
And those guys had some experience.
Exactly.
Now, I know Coach Bruce out there is gonna, based off coaching experience, stuff like he's gonna put guys in a position to be successful. But like I said, I mean that's why we have them as sleepers.
Yeah.
Because it may take a little while for them to get adjusted and accumulated to what's going on. And once they get adjusted, they may get rolling.
Yeah, back it up.
What? They might get rolling.
Yeah. Similar thoughts. Exactly. I am so excited to see what Isaiah Williams can grow into because I think that he is the key. And I know he's motivated, man. I know he's motivated. I think he is the key. When you run that offense, if your quarterback isn't a threat, then you're not going to be successful at all. Yeah. People are already going to hone in on LJ. But when you go back and look at the quarterbacks who've run that offense, even like you said, DeMarcus, he ran that offense for a year. Then they moved him over to defensive end. And then you had Black ran that offense. And God, he ran that offense. So Isaiah taking over.
Then you had Tobias Weaver. That dude was cold on that offense.
Man, like, so when you have that lineage of quarterbacks and running that offense, I think you've got the game film and you've got the context to be successful in that. If I know every quarterback wants to be the best thrower and passer of the ball, but in running that style of offense, if you don't know how to be deceiving with the handoffs and don't have the athletic capability of running the ball yourself, then you're going to fail. But I think Isaiah's got it in him to take them from being a sleeper to being a wrecker in that conference, in that district. So, but yeah, for the same exact reasons, that's exactly why. Because I see them just on the outside looking in, and I think they're going to want to make up. Because of course, people said it. Going from 6A to 5A, y'all have the success, but now you're back up at 6A. Let's see exactly what you can do. That success and experience can carry over because there was only one quarterback who went to the state semifinals in that entire conference, in that entire district, and that was Isaiah. Yeah. So, when you're going up against the likes of Shadow Creek, you've got to be able to bring back some type of experience and confidence from that. That's gonna help this squad go forward.
Yes. Without a doubt.
Okay, so Smithson Valley 4th. And I have them 4th because Jalen Nutt at quarterback. I want to see exactly what he can do. I think they're going to be a predominantly running offense with him in there. You got to be able to use his athleticism as a threat. I think they're going to have some pass plays where they're going to be. I love when the coach can use the threat of the run and get that arm loose.
Yeah.
A coach who can do that when they know that if your quarterback's not the best thrower, it's not his natural position, and they can come up with something, I think that's better than having a pocket passer, in my opinion, because you've got to you're already making that defense think. And then even when the defense thinks, okay, well, we're going to force him to pass.
Yeah.
It's like, well, then are you going to force him to pass by playing back? Or are you going to force him to pass by rushing him and trying to confine him? And then if the right play is called, you got guys running free.
Yeah.
Easy.
All day.
And then I like their offensive line. And once again, you got to give the advantage to the line. So I got Smithson Valley 4th. I just see them being a little bit behind Steele and Clemens, with Jetson as the clear leader for the district.
Yeah. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
That 27-6A district, it's a toss-up, to be honest with you. Judson comes with it every year. Clemens comes with it every year. Steele comes with it every year. And Smithson Valley. Tell me a year that you don't. You always got those guys in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
it's a round robin.
Yeah. Like I said, with that group, it's a toss-up, man, to be honest with you. And there's damn good ball played over there in that district.
Yeah. It was like last year. You had Clemens beat Judson beat Steele.
It's a playoff game every week.
Yeah.
Over there.
Yeah.
Playoff game every weekend.
And that makes you that much better when you get, even within your own district, those schools, the East Centrals, New Braunfels, like when they know what it's like to play against you, but when you know the caliber of your team is that much higher in your own district, it makes you that much better when you have 3 or 4 opponents in your district that still play at your exact same level. I'm not saying that the name of Judson isn't bigger than the other schools in the district, but that pride and that notoriety runs throughout Clemens as well. It runs throughout Steele as well. It runs throughout Smithson Valley as well. You know,
it's like there's a standard out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's a
definitely.
standard. They're gonna take nothing less but playoffs.
Definitely. Number 3, Steele. I have Steele at 3, even though I know Wyatt Beagle can lead them to the district championship. But once again, you know, when you have a player and coaches who have to bring up some younger guys, some of them who have been in the fire, but if I'm talking about freshmen, sophomores, they're coming off of a first round exit versus Austin Westlake, and man, that game was 2 plays away from being totally different. And I know I've talked to Wyatt and I've told Daniel Jackson, I'm like, look, you know, y'all can't say it, I'll say it. You know, there were some bad calls in that game. A couple a holding call and a pass interference call that was complete crap. And and that game's different. And that's a school that went on to win the state title. Austin Westlake. Yeah. So I mean, it's a difference in a couple of calls that that can have you from winning state to being out in the first round. Because Steele versus Westlake was a huge game. Yeah. And you think Jalen Jones wouldn't have wanted a crack at the second round period? Like,
and,
man.
And a lot of it, too, is, you know, the coaches could put you in a position to be successful.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, the kid's got to execute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I can have you in the spot, but if you don't execute, it doesn't do us any good.
Exactly.
You forget your assignment or you forget your call. You know, and a lot of times, forget these kids are 16, 17 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, we rely on them a lot to make the decisions, but at the same time, they're also going to make mistakes.
Right. So I've got Steele in third. I've got Clemens second. And, you know, we keep saying Austin Westlake, but that's the common opponent between these two, their most recent opponents. And as we spoke about earlier in the podcast, you know, them taking a loss like that to Westlake, you know, okay, well, they go into playing Judson and Steele, and it's like, well, we've already played Westlake, so let's see exactly.
And you know what else could have happened too?
Mm-hmm.
Is maybe that coach didn't want to show all his cards. He didn't want to run all his offense, because there's coaches like that that'll go and they'll only run certain plays.
It's so vanilla.
Yeah. They only run certain plays.
It's like, is this all y'all got?
Yeah. The week 1, that scouting report, you know, they don't want to give whoever they're opening with week 1.
You don't want to show the attempt to do certain things.
Like, all right, we could just write down this, and that, and this they're probably gonna throw at us. So they're probably playing conservative a little as well, but. At the same time, you don't want to get demolished like that, too.
Exactly. And that's a game in which the score got out of hand, and you're able to put those younger guys in there to get that experience. And, you know, and if they got 14 to 21 of those points off of your other squad, hey, okay, so you can start breaking the game down within itself. Like, okay, this squad went in, and in the fourth quarter, we lost the quarter, but it was only 7-0. Yeah. Third quarter we lost, and it was 14-0. This is the people that we had in during this time. Exactly how you're saying. They're not showing their entire cards, but you're able to get that game experience in if the game is out of control to win in its entirety. Yeah. So, I mean, a loss is a loss, but you can still grow inside of it. Yeah. So, number 1, Judson. So,
Anthony Lewis and Cameron Scott,
and
Rigsby out there.
Robert Rigsby, Davion Wilson. Yeah. Davion Wilson.
Moody.
Yeah, Donnie Moody.
It's a solid group out there.
And they're the greatest group of the expectation of what's proven already, and expectation. And I mean, when I say expectation, I'm talking Davion Wilson, because if he recognizes the type of athlete and receiver that he can be, added on, he was something last year that they didn't have, period, even with the receivers, with the receivers that they had, even with Bailey there. I think he was a different type of beast than Bailey was. I mean, Bailey was your speedster, and he could get you downfield. But even with that being said, Davion's a freak.
Yeah.
So when you just have a freak, it's going to be something that if you can get them to continuously do those freakish acts, you've got an above 50 catch, you've got a 1,000-yard receiver, you've got a double-digit touchdowns receiver, you got a Joshua Cobbs. You've got a Joshua Cobbs. Now, can he tap within himself to keep that focus and that dedication to do that? You know, and I mean, he's got the coaching staff, as we talked about adjustments. That's going to be the only thing holding Judson back. Is going to be, are they going to have the players who are going to be able to recognize their abilities mixed with those who have already proven and are dedicated to being at the level?
No, I think Judson will be fine. They got a lot of raw talent out there. I think the coaches will make the adjustments and putting these kids to be successful. But like you said, yeah, he is a freakish athlete. I think once they get the quarterback situation ironed out over there, that's going to play a big role on who's going to distribute the ball to get to him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting with all that talent. But I know the running game is going to be in good hands.
Yes.
The running game will be in good hands.
Yeah. And actually, I'm not sure if Trey Brown's going to be in the backfield again, because I heard he was playing in the secondary as well, and he was their backup running back last year. And if you remember, in my top 10 running backs, Judson had 2 of them.
Yeah.
And he had 50 carries for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns playing behind Lewis.
Yeah.
Over 10 yards a carry? Like, and now if he's in the secondary, he could play both ways. You could be a backup to Lewis and play both ways at Judson.
Yeah.
Easy. So Coach Williams over there has got a plethora of talent and, you know, a lot to work with. And, you know, it's just going to be about those adjustments made that's going to propel them into past that quarterfinals. Because, once again, it's always San Antonio bumping their head against Austin as of late. And then going up against these Houston schools, or getting the opportunity to, because I think the last time it was a Houston school versus San Antonio was Judson versus North Shore back in 2016.
In what, playoff or something?
Yeah, in the state semis.
Okay. How about Wagner and Shadow Creek?
Oh well, I mean, yeah. I'm sorry. I was thinking 6A because Wagner.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah, but but still, even there, because Wagner had a lead in both those games, and then adjustments were made, and we ended up on the short end.
Yeah.
But both of
man, we competed on that one too.
Yeah.
I brought it up.
You brought it up. So you know, Judson, Clemens, Steele, Smithson Valley, and Wagner as a spoiler to both of our lists. You know, I got to do a better job at hiding my notes from Gomez because obviously, you know,
Oh man.
you know, great minds think alike, or you can copy paste. So that has been this segment. Remember, if you want us to get to your game, let us know. And we haven't done 5A predictions yet because their season hasn't started.
Yeah.
So next episode we will be taking care of SAISD, and that's. I'm not going to tell you when I do my list.
Don't tell me.
I'm not going to tell you when I do my list because, you know, plagiarism is an offense.
Yeah, it is.
So this has been B. Damone and Coach Gomez and our Along the Wire district predictions for 27-6A and 29-6A San Antonio, Texas. We will be back to close things out. Thank you. Hey, what it do? This has been episode 105, and we are about to sign out. But before we get out of here, we want to make sure you are following us on Twitter, me at B. Damone, and you can catch Coach Gomez
at STX7V7.
STX7V7. Hey, we want to shout out Treywave for the music, Collision for the artwork, and don't forget we will be having. I gotta let Coach Gomez know what I'm thinking on these decals, and make sure you are following us on the YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, share this channel, and you can find me on UTSA Rivals as well. Make sure you get your subscription to that for all the latest information from birdsup.com. With Javi Cardenas and the guys keeping y'all up to date on the San Antonio high school kids that play D1 at UTSA. So we thank you for being with us this Sunday morning, and y'all have a safe week and get ready for this next week of football. SAISD is going to be kicking off, starting their scrimmages this week, and we will be at the Harlan game, we will be at the Holmes game, we will be at the Holy Cross game, and we'll be at the Central Catholic game. So it's a full slate for us as well. Message us. We interact with the fans all the time. So let us know exactly what you think about the show. And, love, peace, hair grease, hook 'em, birds up, 210. We out.
Peace.